We finally got more information about that super shady subpoena, and Ron is back to discuss.
Blake Lively is losing it after Justin Baldoni finally blew the lid off her messy fake text message scandal. We're talking about fake subpoenas, media games, and legal tricks that would make a soap opera look tame. Blake? She pulled out every trick in the book.
This lawsuit against these unnamed individuals were dropped or just disappeared.
Even the New York Times got played. Yup, they acted like her little puppet. And now, Blake's in a meltdown. Her perfect courtroom fantasy is falling apart fast, and she's lashing out at everyone on her way down. Quick pause. Don't forget to smash that like button and subscribe. You know the drill. Now back to the drama.
But now we're seeing Blake actually do it with these sort of shady tactics.
Let's rewind to September 27th, 2024. A sketchy lawsuit gets filed in a New York court. It's titled Vans and Inc. versus John Doe 1 through 10. Sounds like a bad knockoff of Gone Girl, right?
Well, we finally now have learned what this so-called case was that everyone's wondering, where did this come from? It was from a case from Vans and Inc. versus John Doe's 1 through 10.
Except there's no missing wife here, just a missing target. No real names, no real people, just a list of John Does. This lawsuit didn't have faces, facts, or even a point, except for one sneaky little trick. It gave Blake's crew the power to issue subpoenas. This wasn't about winning anything. It was a setup to dig up dirt.
And more people did their due diligence to figure out, well, who's this Van Zandt? As we sort of learned out that was a company of Blake Lively's.
And the mastermind behind this legal circus? Drumroll. Blake Reynolds. Oops, meant Blake Lively. That's her married name now. And in this legal cosplay, she wasn't just the plaintiff. She was the CEO, the secretary, and the CFO of Vans and Inc. Might as well add a snack manager while she's at it. This wasn't a company. It was a one-woman scam factory.
It was owned by Blake Reynolds, her married name, as the chief CEO, secretary, financial officer, etc. So it has now been confirmed that yes, this Van Zandt versus the John Does is clearly a Blake Lively lawsuit, but clearly was filed without anybody's actual name.
And it gets even wilder. Public records link Ryan Reynolds, yes, Deadpool himself, to this sketchy ghost company. The address listed for Vans and Inc.? Same as his house. Because sure, why not drag your famous husband into this legal circus too? This isn't just shady. This is straight up Twilight Zone with a business license.
Any lawyer will tell you, you do not file a complaint if you don't know the name of the person that you are suing, unless you're trying to protect that person's identity for some reason, which if you're pissed off enough to sue them, you probably don't care about their identity.
Then comes the movie scene moment. December 20th, 2020, just one day. After that, Vans and Clown's lawsuit magically disappears. Blake drops her big official CRD complaint. Like boom, mic drop. So what was the point of the first case? Oh, just a clever trap to steal private info, blow up Justin Baldoni's name, and dip before anyone asked questions. If this was chess, Blake's not playing by the rules. She's flipping the whole board.
Well, so it's interesting because now I have questions, because as we have both Brian Friedman and Lively's lawyers have sort of commented on this, Brian Friedman told the Daily Mail, this appears to be an end around, skirting the process to be able to secretly get these documents without having to give anyone notice.
Now about Vans and Inc. itself. This wasn't just a shady case. It was a zombie company, dead for 11 years. No activity, no products, nothing. And suddenly, it comes back from the legal grave to chase after Blake's revenge mission? You don't need to be a lawyer to smell something stinky here.
So apparently this company has been inactive for 11 years and Blake Reynolds is the CEO. When I saw this, I was like, how can we connect Vans and Inc. to Ryan Reynolds and Blake Lively? How do we know that they're the owners of this company?
And the lawsuit? A mess of nothing. It threw around claims about corporate loyalty and violations without saying what happened, when, or even who did anything. Like, you can't sue invisible people. It was like suing thin air. Honestly, the only thing emptier than this lawsuit was Blake's credibility.
Of Ryan Reynolds on public records is the same address as Vans and Inc. In the court documents. Also, these court documents are filed by the same lawyers and the company that represents Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds in their lawsuit against Justin Baldoni.
And let's be honest, this wasn't about justice. This was a side door break-in dressed in legal drag. And the whole goal? To issue one subpoena to one person, Stephanie Jones. If that name sounds familiar, it should. She used to be Justin Baldoni's PR rep. And now, she's smack in the middle of this subpoena circus.
Oh, everything is public information. And the thing is, there's no other explanation for how Stephanie Jones could be subpoenaed. So someone here is saying that this is called a straw lawsuit, and it's common in celebrity lawsuits and ironically smear campaigns.
Now Stephanie Jones, oh, she deserves her own spin-off. This woman worked with Baldoni until August 2024. Then, boom, October hits, and out of the blue, she gets a subpoena. And just like that, she starts handing over emails, messages, and private stuff like she's passing out Halloween candy. No pushback, no hesitation, just, here you go, destroy my former client. Total team player, or maybe just a traitor. Now let's talk about Vans and Inc. Again. Only one phone was subpoenaed. One. And it belonged to a woman named Jennifer Ale. Not the whole PR firm, just her. Like the rest of the team had invisibility cloaks or something. If they were really hunting for evidence, why so narrow? That's not an investigation, that's a hit job. Oh, and here's where it gets juicy. Stephanie Jones is married to Jason Hewitt-Ease. Who's that? Just a senior partner at WME, the talent agency that reps, you guessed it, Ryan Reynolds and Blake Lively. We're not even pretending to hide the conflict of interest anymore. We're practically sharing burner phones over dinner. Let's not act like Stephanie didn't know exactly what she was doing. You don't just roll out of bed and say, let me violate NDAs today for fun. Some insiders even believe she had an agenda. Maybe she was salty that Baldoni left. Maybe she wanted to take down Jennifer. Maybe she just wanted to impress the Hollywood elite. Either way, she had access. And instead of hitting delete, she went, hey Blake, wanna blow up some careers? And Blake, she was ready. The second she found out about those messages, she allegedly reactivated her zombie company, filed a fake lawsuit, and sent out a subpoena like it was Uber Eats for dirt.
And the thing is, as I said before, why didn't they subpoena more people in Stephanie Jones' company? There was more people involved with Justin Baldoni. I mean, Stephanie Jones was also working with him.
And don't pretend it was some accident. The lawsuit? It magically disappeared the day before she filed her CRD complaint. Coincidence? Hardly. She used Vans and Inc. to sneak around legally, scooped the info, then tossed the lawsuit like it was leftovers. This is what we call power moves now. Even legal experts are calling it out. They've labeled it a straw lawsuit, a fake case created just to gain access to info with zero plans of actually winning. Blake out here acting like she's Mother Teresa on the red carpet. Meanwhile, behind closed doors, she's moving like a mob boss. Here's the funny part. Blake's legal team really thought they could redesign the entire court system like it's a Pinterest board. Let's sue nobody, they said. Let's include no details. Just vibe the lawsuit into existence. In Blake's world, you don't even need to know who you're suing. No names, no details, just vibes, and some fancy legal paper. That's the entire Vans and Inc. play. A lawsuit so empty, so vague, it wouldn't have made it past Judge Judy's first sip of coffee. No hearings, no names, no case. Just a shadow lawsuit designed to do one thing: serve subpoenas. This wasn't about justice, it was about access. They wanted Baldoni's emails, his texts, his private convos. That's it. And to get them, they pulled the oldest trick in the book. Pretend you're suing someone, grab a subpoena, then vanish. And guess who had an NDA with Baldoni? Yup, Stephanie Jones. She legally couldn't share those messages, but Blake's team thought, what if we just toss her a subpoena from our fake lawsuit? Boom, loophole. Is it ethical? No. Is it clever? Not even. It's just plain shady. And here's the worst part. Justin Baldoni never even got a heads up. Not a letter, not a call, nothing. No, hey, we're taking your private stuff, XO Blake. Which, by the way, is illegal. Civil code says you must notify the person whose data you're subpoenaing. But Blake's crew? They skipped that part entirely. And let's be real, if the New York Times knew how that info was gathered, Would they have touched it? Not a chance. But they did cite that subpoena in their article. So now, they look like they just got played in a Hollywood puppet show run by Team Blake. Once you start using illegally obtained info to shape public opinion, it's no longer journalism. That's not reporting. That's gossip with a law firm's letterhead. And what did Blake do with those stolen messages? She handed them to her favorite press outlet and let them torch Baldoni's name in print. The NYT article dropped right after the messages were grabbed. No delay. The smear campaign was loaded and ready, and here's where this becomes a masterclass in media manipulation. Blake's team didn't just leak random info, they handpicked what to release. They cut out context. They deleted explanations. They stripped the story down until Baldoni looked like the villain in a Hallmark horror. Balance? Gone. Truth? Twisted. The media became the delivery driver for Blake's spin campaign. And if the Times didn't get the full story, which a lot of legal insiders believe, they were basically fed a script. A one-sided hit piece, no disclaimers included. The whole thing was rolled out like a PR stunt with a built-in nuke. In just 3 months, we went from fake lawsuit to shady subpoena to full-blown takedown. That's not sloppy, that's strategic. This wasn't about finding the truth, it was about controlling the narrative. Blake's CRD complaint in December 2024, it needed a story to back it up. So they created one, using selective messages, timed press drops, and shady legal tricks to burn Baldoni's image to the ground before he could even respond. Call it what it is, a planned ambush dressed up as a lawsuit. But here's the thing, karma's circling. Legal experts are watching this unfold, and they're not impressed. When you file a fake lawsuit just to send subpoenas and mess with court docs, you're not just being sneaky, you're breaking the system. That's called abusive process, and if it sticks, Blake's team could be facing real heat, from bar investigations to disqualifications. The rule's simple. You don't trick people into handing over private info using a shell lawsuit. It's like showing up to court in a Halloween costume and expecting to win. Doesn't work that way. And that's why Baldoni's attorney, Brian Freridman, is coming in swinging. He straight up called this an end run around the legal process. In plain English, they cheated, and now they're about to get checked. If the judge agrees this was a fake case used to dig up dirt, Blake's so-called evidence, gone. Just like that, thrown out like spoiled leftovers. And without that dirt, her CRD complaint starts to look like what it really is, a desperate PR stunt dressed up like a legal crusade. Worse, she could get hit with sanctions. That means fines, penalties, embarrassment, the whole package. And it's not just her. The law firm helping her, Manat, could also be in deep trouble. If they knowingly helped file a bogus lawsuit, they might get booted from the case entirely. Imagine repping Hollywood royalty, then getting bar complaints filed against you because you couldn't say no to Blake's latest power move. But honestly, are we even surprised anymore? Blake's legal game is like one of those fake cakes on TikTok. Pretty on the outside. But the moment you cut in, it collapses. If this whole thing blows up in court, it won't just be a loss, it'll be a total image meltdown. People won't remember the fake lawsuit. They'll remember that Blake Lively tried to turn a courtroom into a movie set and got caught holding the script. And none of this came from love. It was all strategy. If Blake had a real case, she wouldn't need a fake company, shady subpoenas, or pre-planned leaks. She'd just file a normal lawsuit. But instead, she played dirty from the start. And the worst part? She almost got away with it. Almost. But the thing about lies? They come with receipts, or in this case, timestamps, subpoenas, and a whole timeline that reads like a Netflix crime doc. Let's rewind to August 2024. Stephanie Jones officially leaves Baldoni's team. 1 month later, on September 27th, the infamous Vans and Inc. case is filed. It's not a real lawsuit, it's a smokescreen. A ghost case with no real targets, no real claims, just a setup. Then, in October 2024, the subpoena hits. Not sent to Baldoni, not even aimed at Blake's crew. No, they go after Jennifer Ailes' phone. Through Stephanie Jones. One person, one phone, one calculated grenade. Shortly after, the whole case gets dropped. No trial, no follow-up, just vanished. Because it already did what it was supposed to do, collect dirt. Then comes December 20th. Blake files her big dramatic CRD complaint just in time to catch headlines, right after the stolen info is safely in her hands. And boom! The New York Times drops the bombshell article only a few days later, right on cue. All of this happened in 4 months. Set up the company, file the case, grab the info, trash the case, file the complaint, leak the press. That's not justice. That's a full-blown legal operation. And what's Blake doing while this unfolds? Absolutely nothing. No comments, no denial, no, my team is reviewing this. Just silence. Hiding behind lawyers, agents, and contracts. And Ryan Reynolds? He's out here cracking gin jokes, while his name and home address are tied to the fake company. Court records S.